when I'm in my facial room and you ask them, so if you could change anything about your skin, what would it be? That is one of the things they just talk about is uneven coloring, you know, some brown spotting, the little things on the back of our hands. So what's the difference between hyperpigmentation and discoloration?
Well, kind of they're actually both sort of the same thing. You know, when we, first of all, when we talk about discoloration, I think it's really interesting for the audience to know that it's a huge issue because by today, by the age of 35, it doesn't matter who you are. If you've got skin, and it can happen a lot younger, but if you've got skin by the age of 35, you're going to have abnormal pigmentation.
True.
And if you don't have abnormal pigmentation, you're going to have something called background pigment. Now, background pigment is, look at a picture of somebody when they're 20 and when they're 30, 40, 50. It's kind of like somebody put a dingy film over their face. It's not obvious areas of contrast, but the skin just doesn't have that crisp, that vibrant, that really kind of healthy, vibrant look
Right.
that you had when, 10 or 15 years ago. And so they've done focus groups where they've shown pictures of individuals to the group that had hyperpigmentation, pictures of people that have lines and wrinkles. The individuals with lines and wrinkles were oftentimes guessed as being older.
Wow.
People with, or the people with pigmentation were guessed as being older than the people with lines and wrinkles. So this is an issue that is of huge concern today. And there's just really not a lot of remedies that are truly helpful for the majority of individuals.
Well, that's a sad statement. So how do we prevent this? Is there a way to prevent it at all before it even happens?
Well,
to a certain extent, I guess.
Okay. Well, so first of all, number one, you can call it all kinds of things. You can say melasma, you can say chloasma, you can say solar tigenes. And hormones and various kinds of things, and sometimes even drugs, can be an underlying factor. But the primary factor is going to be sun exposure, because UV light triggers the production of pigment. So think about it. Maybe if you have a lot of pigment in your skin, your ancestors probably were in an area where they had to be outside all the time, and they stepped into the sun, and 30 seconds after they're in the sun, their body is just going, we're going to produce lots and lots of pigment. We're going to give you a good coat of pigment for protection. So when we talk about pigment, and this is the thing to understand, because I could spend an hour getting into all of the, how it's thrown off into the surface and the different types of pigment cells. It's important to understand what everybody wants is you want a solution.
Right.
If you understand, just because you understand pigment, how it's produced doesn't mean that you're going to be able to address it.
True.
So how do you address it?